Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. On Fridays, we talk about the product owner role in Scrum. We talk about patterns and anti-patterns that relate to ours and the team's collaboration with the product owner. And we've also put together a course to help you navigate that relationship. There's 18 modules, nearly 8 hours of tools, techniques, videos, handouts, presentations you can use to help you and your team work better with your product owner. The course is available at bit.ly/coach-your-PO. All lowercase, all one word. That's bit.ly/coach-your-PO. And now, on to the show, the Product Owner Show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our TGIF, the Product Owner episode, this week with Raj Solanki. Hi, Raj. Welcome back.
Hi, Vasco.
So, Raj, on Fridays, we dedicate our attention to the product owner role, as it is one of the most critical roles in the whole Scrum framework. So let's dive into that. We'll talk about a great product owner later to end up on a high. But first, share with us, what was the worst product owner anti-pattern you've witnessed in your career?
There are a couple of things which I have seen in the product owner anti-pattern. One was, I've seen few of the product owner. I mean, this is a very basic anti-pattern, not attending all the meetings. It's like for example, they'll be involved in the backlog refinement or a story, explaining those meetings. But sometimes they miss some of the scheduled meeting, which is actually PO is required. So that is that's a basic anti-pattern, but the biggest anti-pattern what I've seen is when they write this story, when product owner, because you are a product owner, you are being called as a face of the team from a technical aspects. So the way of writing, because some of the development folks, they took this role as a product owner, and the anti-pattern was more likely the way of writing the story, the way they were formulating the story. The things were more from a technical aspects. For example, when you write a story, you need to understand as a product owner, I have to write something in such a way in sense like a business aspects rather than writing a code if and else. So this is from their writing aspects. I'm talking about the anti-pattern. The stories were not properly been written.
So they wrote the stories as almost as if it was programming?
Exactly. It's almost like a programming and putting the code into the description section. And this was quite a, see, you are a technical guy, you may understand what you are writing, but now you are a product owner. It's not only you who have to understand this story, it is the team who have to understand that story. It is the team who is going to deliver that. Or even from the outsider aspects as well, when you're writing something, the business aspects, if somebody wanted to look into it or a business wanted to understand about the feature or the story, it has to be written in such a way that it gives a very clear understanding just by reading in one go, and very simple, very proper way of writing. That's another anti-pattern which I have seen. Now, I have also seen that there are a couple of product owner who have come from a project manager role. They were the project manager and they are a manager of the team, and they also became a product owner. So the way of leading the team was more from a project manager aspects rather than a product owner way of working. It's more likely a managing the team. It's more likely a passing the orders to the team, which is not the behavior of the product owner.
Absolutely.
A product owner is somebody who has to take the team together, have to make them understand. It could be possible that for one single thing, you have to explain 1,000 times, because now we are delivering as a team rather than individual. So there have been cases where my personal experience, the project manager became a product owner. Now he is managing the team and also he is a product owner, but the way of leading the team is pretty different. A product owner thinks from a different aspects, a project manager thinks from a different aspects. So
Absolutely.
These
Actually, that's a great point, right? Like the background of the people that work in that role is very important. If they were a business analyst, they might resort to writing the requirements in isolation and then giving them to the team already completely written out. If they're a coder, they might write code in the stories as you described. If they're a project manager, they might think that what they need to do is to tell exactly what to do and when to do it and who does it. Uh,
exactly.
I think that's a very important warning, right? Like as Scrum Masters, we need to be aware that the previous role that the product owner had will definitely influence the way they execute the product owner role.
Exactly. And the point what I said, a project manager coming to a product owner, so they become more, they were more like a project oriented rather than a product oriented. Now, when you become a product owner, a good product owner is one who is always a product oriented.
Okay, so before
He
we
is
go
doing
in,
a research.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll go to the good product owner in a second. So I think that what you said is a very important point and maybe a great point to do this move, right? So a project manager is possibly going to manage the product as if it was a project. That's a very common
Right.
anti-pattern that I've seen too. But as you were saying, we also need to talk about great product owners. And that's actually the next question I would like to ask you, Raj. So
Right.
describe for us a great product owner that you've worked with. What did they do that made them such a great product owner?
Yes. So within my professional experience as a Scrum Master, I work with one or two product owner. I really like the way they work. So as the point what I said to you, though they were more likely a product oriented folks.
Can you explain what that means, like being
Yes.
product oriented?
So so when I say product oriented, they were always doing the research about the product. They were involving themselves any of the requirement or anything which is coming to the team. They do a thorough understanding first before they put in front of the team. They ensure that first I understand that what it is, what I have to deliver. I should not go with the 50% knowledge and just give it to the team. So they dedicate their effort in understanding. They ensure that they are putting a reasonable amount of effort. They're coming with a proper writing of the story, proper requirement. And when I say product oriented, so it is more likely they are, they are always looking to deliver on a specific scope. They are working in terms of delivering a product with what is being expected from the customer, and that is possible only when you involve yourself. It's not that you just become a product owner and you just write the story and just give it to them, and without doing some kind of a research, or I would say a thorough analysis of that.
And also, I think one thing that you said I wanted to highlight, right? You said they focus on delivering a product as expected by the customer, right? And you said that they are involved, and I wanted to highlight that aspect of involvement is very important because in the old
Yes,
world, defining what was going to be delivered, i.e., requirements, was done before the team even was part of the process. And
exactly.
now we're really shrinking the feedback loop from customer to product. So a product that is a product owner that is able to get involved in that process. So, do the research, as you said, then give feedback to the team as the team is developing the story, then present things to customer, get feedback from customers, maybe do research with customer, but also feedback collection after story implementation with customer. Like that kind of involvement is what the Scrum product owner role is all about.
Right, right. Yes. And also because you are a product owner, so you need, because you can see that product owner is somebody who is explaining the requirement to the team. You have to be little bit, from a behavioral aspects I'm talking about. I've seen the product owner, the best product owner with whom I work with, very patience folks, having a lot of patience. You ask the same questions thousand times. A product owner is somebody like a best product owner I have seen with. He explained the same thing again and again, maybe 10 times, 20 times, because as I said, not everyone has the same set of understanding or same way of understanding. May happen that I may understand something in one go, other folks may not understand. So the patience from the behavioral aspects, it's one of the important thing that you need to be a patience. you need to understand your team. You need to understand your team potential. You need to understand your team's skills. And then you try to make them understand. You try to make them understand how we are going to deliver, what support is required from me. I'm always ready as and when required, or not only as and when required in terms of you can I have seen the product owner, the best one, they gets involved in all the discussions. Even I've seen the product owners with whom I work with, they sit with the developer and go one by one, step by step, if the team is getting stuck in some position, some places.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that patience is a very important aspect as well. Not only to explain things many times, which definitely is there, but also to accept that not everything can be ready immediately, right? Because the team takes
Exactly.
time to develop those ideas into practice. So
Yes, and to add to that point, as the product owner, the experience with whom I work with, I have seen that they have taken the responsibility for the success of the product. And that's the most important thing in our agile way of working. When you're working as a team, because you are the product owner, you have to take the complete kind of responsibility of it could be a failure, it could be a success, because failure and success part of the journey. You will learn. When you fail, you learn. But they never blame the team, they never blame the individual. They take the ownership. Okay, this is the success and we will deliver this as a team. If there is a
absolutely.
failure, I will take the ownership. You don't have to worry, because when a leader talks in that way, you are actually building a trust culture. You're actually building a culture of trust within the team. And now with that, the team will also behave in that fashion. And then teams give their 100% dedications, because they know that somebody is standing with us.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure to have you here this week, Raj. Unfortunately, we're getting close to the end, but before we do go, where can people find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
I am available on LinkedIn, so people can find out the details about me on LinkedIn profile.
We'll put the link to that on the show notes.
Yeah.
Very good, Raj. It's been a pleasure. So thank you very much for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Thank you so much, Vasco. Thanks so much for giving me an opportunity to speak.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy to contribute in this journey for future as well.
One more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast is over, but there's a lot more we have to share. We have developed our own membership site where you find a community of active and engaged Scrum Masters. In this site, you get access to exclusive content and get to interact with us, your podcast hosts, as well as the best Scrum Masters in the world. Join us at scrummastertoolbox.com/podcast and keep this podcast free of advertising. See you next week for one more week full of Scrum Master tips and tricks. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.